What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list here today. We're going to get you guys caught up on the market or what you might want to be looking at. Yesterday we had mentioned that the market would have to get through its trending regression level here, this white guy, at about 358 now in order to see kind of a larger up move. Well, we had failed and pretty much just stayed below that trend line all day. Now today, there's going to be some news coming out. Well, at 8:30 you have jobless claims, then you're going to have CPI, and you have the Fed's talking today. So therefore, we're probably anticipating the markets are going to be a little bit choppy going through the day, similar to yesterday. You can see how we just kind of dropped, bounced, ran up, dropped, bounced, and kind of had more of a sideways market. That's probably what we're going to be seeing here today. Good chance of that. So for now, we're just kind of neutral on the market. Don't really see a need to be super long bias, super short bias, anything of that nature. So right now, we're just pretty much neutral on the market. Now what I want to show you is maybe a daily chart here. Might give you a better reading, and it doesn't. Prices are pretty much still the same. You can see we have resistance right at about 358 still. So we're just going to mention that 358 or 359 on the S&P 500, that's your resistance slash break point next. All right. Now what we're going to do is move into pretty much all the penny stocks that have been moving today. So EDRY is one of the bigger gappers on the list here this morning, jumping from 5 all the way up to 13. So far it's sold off, to 10. This is something we're going to be watching throughout the day. The news on it doesn't seem extremely strong. They had news from yesterday. They're just basically reporting results. 9-month period, quarter ended, September, blah, 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 adjusting their EPS, giving information on their sales and earnings. So overall, it's not like a super big news event for the stock, but the market has reacted very positively from that report. So today we're just going to be keeping this on watch slowly. Our first little support test level we see is going to be $9. About $9, $9.10 for EDRY is sort of the first support level right now. If in the event it were to break through that, we just anticipate this market might fade back down towards $7. So when the prices get down towards 7, that might be where we're more interested in being long bias. Let me show you something that's been happening recently in the market. We have been seeing situations where a lot of these stocks are just fading out and then they're dying out on volume and they're going for a late day push. So you can see here with MEDS, sold off in the morning all the way down to this 5. Eventually there was no volume, so no more active selling, which it's hard to make a stock continue to go down if nobody's selling it, and then it reverses into a nice long. That's a situation we've been seeing quite often recently. So we're being more optimistic on some of these plays because we've seen them fade the morning and then blow up in the afternoon. So even if they don't appear to be bullish or have a bullish start on the day, we've been seeing them get revived later in the day. So EDRY is going to be one of the main kind of penny players or gappers that we follow going forward into today's market. Next one on the list we can discuss is IMAC. IMAC's another situation where pre-market, the charting it doesn't look super phenomenal, but the same thing happened with FTEK yesterday. Market didn't look super phenomenal with that, but it ended up having an explosive move, to say the least. So same situation here with IMAC. It had news yesterday just talking about expanding its footprint in Missouri with the acquisition of Lockwood Chiropractic in Webster Grove. So it looks like they're just basically expanding business and acquiring a new business or area. So far market reacted positively earlier pre-market, and now we are just kind of basically sitting doing nothing. The longer term chart on IMAC arguably looks pretty decent. I mean, you have a 4-hour chart here with 3 solid up candles. Granted, you have a really long upper wick here. So IMAC is going to be one of the candidates we watch today to see if this does in fact give us some bullish activity. It has somewhat decent news. We're in the lower cycle for the stock on the day. It's not like we're coming from a high selling point. We've already sold down into a lower risk zone that people could consider as a long trade. So IMAC and EDRY are going to be our 2 main watchers here to start the day with penny stocks. SINO is another penny stock that kind of jumped today. This is also on watch as well. This arguably has, I mean, you could argue maybe equal weight to IMAC, but again, this one doesn't really have much news behind it today, so this would be trading a penny stock with no relevant news on the day, which arguably is not usually the best tactic. Every once in a while, they do some crazy things. So we might keep SINO on a side watch for now. Another one is PXS. This one has news from yesterday after hours, talking about third quarter 2020 results and related conference call. So again, nothing super explosive in terms of news, but market is still reacting a little positively. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It just seems like there might be too much resistance around the 130s for this to successfully get going. Again, we'll see for right now. Now, something else we're keeping on watch today too is FOSL, Fossil. They reported earnings, and we're going to see if somehow, this longer term pennant that you can see ends up breaking more to the upside, or just at least to retest the highs of maybe $8.50 to $9. So FOSL, again, it's seen some pretty good volatility after its earnings report. We're going to see if this volatility can continue throughout the day. Maybe give us an up move back towards the pre-market highs of 850 would even be a very good move. Wouldn't be anything wrong with that. Another side note is Bitcoin just got over 16,000 again today, back under slightly by $10, but Bitcoin now over that $16,000 mark. We might have mentioned this a little bit ago, but we're anticipating Bitcoin's probably going to go back to 20,000 fairly soon. Yeah, maybe do a retest of 20,000. For right now, the retest of 20,000 seems slim in one swift move. We're anticipating maybe to 18,000, 18,500, and then we'll see a pullback before we would reach the $20,000 mark. In order to reach the $20,000 mark, we would need the markets to get exuberant by about $2,000, meaning markets are willing to pay a premium of $2,000 to reach the $20,000 price target, which seems a little challenging to do because, again, I would say most smarter investors right now would not be willing to pay over 18,000 for a Bitcoin or 19,000 for a Bitcoin. When the standard deviation for that pricing doesn't even apply yet. So we're still thinking 20,000 nonetheless, but to have it happen in like a one swift move kind of thing seems pretty hard to do, but we'll see. Okay. So overall, that's pretty much your guys' watch list for today. Markets are still a little shaky. Again, they have maybe not figured out election results. More news medias are starting to pull back states that Biden has won. So they're starting to, again, go back to an election that isn't yet resolved. So again, markets are still questionable in that regard. We're still not out of the pandemic. We're talking about more lockdowns. So again, ladies and gentlemen, 2020 is one for the yearbooks, and I will see everybody on the next video. I hope everybody learned something new, take something good away from the watch list, make some money, and I will see you guys on the next one.